Good afternoon from the gorgeous Gold Coast. Once again on this bit windy Sunday today. Today I want to have a little yarn about narcissism and the behaviours that can go with narcissism. The definition of it is by the Google dictionary is excessive interest in or admirations of oneself or with one's physical appearance. And I can relate to that. Self-love, self-admiration, self-regard, egotistic, self-centeredness, so just to name a few that narcissism is defined. And what I find interesting, the famous psychologist Sigmund Freud, he has explained what the primary narcissism person is, and he suggests that it's exclusive to self-love, and that might not be as abnormal as they previously thought, and it might even be a common component in the human psyche. And he argued that narcissism is the libidinal complement to the egoism of the instinct of, here it is, self-preservation. Or more simply, the desire and energy that drives one's instinct to survive. I'm sure we can all relate to that, some more than others. He referred to this as primary narcissism. Now, according to Freud, people are born with a sense of themselves. No, we all are, as individuals or ego. The ego develops during infancy and the early part of childhood. Only when the outside world, usually in the form of parental controls and expectations, intrudes upon primary narcissism, teaching the individual about the nature and standards of their social environment from which they can form the ideal ego, an image of the perfect self towards which the ego should aspire. As it evolves, the ego distances itself from primary narcissism and they form an ego ideal and proceeded to Kafkaite objects. He regarded all libidinous drives as fundamentally sexual and suggested the ego libido directed inwards to the self cannot always be clearly distinguished from object libido directed to persons or persons outside of oneself. So our personal desires are real, but it's when we direct them to people outside of ourselves, then that becomes demanding on other people because of our normal ego that we form to fit into the world, or what we desire to be comes into play in all human beings. Some more than others. And the ones that don't see if they have got narcissistic behaviours, they're the ones that are hard to have relationships with because of this definition called narcissism or self-centeredness or self-indulgence. There's a really fine line in it. As I said, we've all got it in us. It's just some have it more than other people. So how do we deal with people that are narcissistic and are on the other side of extreme with it? Well, they've got to come to their own realizations that their narcissistic behaviours of self-interest about themselves and not being aware or have insight into their ego is having an effect on people in relationships with them. So one way would be to get them to see that their behaviours are having an impact on the relationship that you're having with somebody who is over the top in narcissism. Seek help. Get them to counselling. Make them aware that you have boundaries and you are going to stay within your boundaries and not going to be controlled by their egotistic or their self-indulging states or behaviours. That's really important when trying to develop relationships with people with these extreme, unaware insights to themselves. I was in a very narcissistic relationship once upon a time. But I had those qualities within me also, with my image, looking for reassurance, my ego, and keeping mind when you're dealing with people with these traits, which is over the top narcissism. A lot of them haven't developed this consciously. We all leave the child state and come into the world, and we all have to go into ego somewhat. That's a normal process of life. And some people go into it hurting other people more than others, or having impacts on other people more than others through being having more narcissism than people with only little bits of it. So to have empathy also and care for people that are very narcissistic would help them also. I think that's important, where you show your heart to somebody who is struggling with narcissism, and that will help you deal with somebody who is extreme with these traits. So I just thought I'd have a little yarn about that and share that, because I thought that was interesting. I'm hearing the word being thrown around quite a lot. So yeah, we've all got it in us, but just some are more extreme than others. I care for them, have empathy for them, try and show them love and compassion and understanding, and hopefully you guys can get through out there. All right, you take care now, and God bless, and have a great Sunday. Oh, Father's Day too. Have a good Father's Day to all the fathers out there. You're special people. Take care.